Welcome back to Connect and Collaborate. I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and today and all week we have had the honor of talking real estate in the Denver area. So this is a hot topic in the market, and I have in studio with me Samantha Chiarelli. She's with Generator Real Estate and Development. How are you, Samantha?
I'm good, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So Sam and I go way back, actually. We met each other, 10 years ago, I believe now. As flight attendants. And so, Sam, if you don't mind walking me through a little bit through your background here and how you wound up at real estate, because you've got an interesting background. You've been in a lot of areas.
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of those rare Colorado natives walking around. I grew up in southern Colorado, kind of in the farm area, and decided in 2008 that I was going to move to Denver and explore what was the big city.
Yeah.
And moving to Denver, I started working for a private bank, and most of my background at that time was in customer relations and finance, and also started working part-time as a flight attendant, which is where we met.
Yeah.
And loved traveling, so had a hard time, giving up my flight benefits there.
Yeah, travel bug, man.
Yes.
Unless it bites you.
Oh, it'll get you. I did grow up surrounded in property management and real estate. My parents, me as a young age, had several rental properties, so I had my exposure in that and swore up and down I would never get into property management, stay clear of real estate, and coming full circle, here I am, working in real estate. I do, like I mentioned, I have a significant background in customer relations and finance. I did end up getting my degree in human nutrition and dietetics.
So completely different.
Yes.
Okay.
I was working at Children's Hospital for a while, and during my time period there, I started kind of dabbling in real estate and realized that I had this passion that I wanted to pursue, and found an opportunity with a commercial firm in downtown Denver, and have kind of followed my journey since then. So that was about in 2015 when I started my journey into real estate.
Nice. And so you work for Generator. Let's talk a little bit about Generator, because it seems to be really, although small, there are a lot of small real estate firms here in the Denver area. It has a pretty good reputation, and started out with Paul Tamburello. And so tell me about Generator and what it's like to work for them, and all the things.
Yeah. So Generator has a real estate side, and we also have a development side. You mentioned Paul, and Paul's been in real estate for a long time. He's gravitated more towards the development side of things, and you see some of his projects over in the Highlands and Lodi area, like Little Man Ice Cream. He's been a part of several restaurants in that area. But Generator itself, what attracted me to them was the boutique feel that they have. We have a limited number of agents, but we like to see that ourselves as giving full service, which I feel is something that's kind of hard to find with a lot of the firms that operate in Denver. You see a lot of these flat fee services, and then just a variety of the large organizations that you see all over the place, and we like to kind of combine the two and offer a full service to our clients. In that full service, we want to make sure that our clients feel like they're our top priority, and that we're helping educate them so that they are making informed decisions, whether it be with purchasing or selling their home. We also work in commercial, residential, and in land. So, kind of all over the board, but that's Generator itself is a full-service boutique firm. We pride ourselves on our mission and our values, and love to give back to our community.
Talk a little bit about that. I know that we've talked off air a little bit, and so you were mentioning about how they give back to the community, which to me, it's very endearing. So I'd love for the audience to know about that.
Yeah, definitely. So we are very community driven and focused on the communities that we live in and the communities that we serve. We do different volunteer events with Bienvenido's Food Bank, helping serve coffee and tea and hot chocolate in the wintertime, while individuals are waiting in line to get food from the food bank. Or we have a pretty good relationship with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. A certain portion of all of our transactions actually go back to supporting some good cause. that we kind of vote on as a team.
Oh,
So
nice.
our team does a lot of work together. We were just at Anchor Center for the Blind Children and helping, collaborate with them on their graduation. So we like to give back to communities and make our communities know that we're there. We're
Right.
there. We not only there to help them with, purchasing or selling a home, but also there to help support the community.
Yeah, and I love that you're giving back like that. And I didn't know that you voted on it as a team. That's really nice. And so not only are you giving money back to these organizations, you're actually volunteering your time, which is really commendable. So I would imagine, though, because you are in the community so much, you have some pretty good knowledge about the market. And we know it's a hot market right now. Give me some stats. Tell me what's going on in the Denver market. And I would like to get your ideals here from a first-time buyer, right? I'm sort of in that boat. Trying to get my ducks in a row to be able to get a home eventually. But if you don't mind walking me through a process and what that looks like, I'd be forever grateful.
Yeah, so I'll kind of paint you what my picture of the current market is, and then I'll tell you about steps for a first-time home buyer.
Sure.
So, as everyone's aware, the real estate market here is hot. Its prices are increasing, and it's very, very competitive. We're seeing a lot of our buyers end up in very competitive situations where there's multiple offers on a home. People are offering over asking price, sometimes including what we call an appraisal gap protection. So they're guaranteeing, if the home doesn't appraise at the value, they'll bring funds to closing. Their buyers are strategizing on how can they win these homes. With the
Right.
5-week inventory that we have, that's it's making it very hard. We have a surplus of buyers and the demand is high, but the supply is not keeping up with the demand there.
Yeah.
So it's creating a bit of a, this battle for buyers. Oftentimes buyers are losing a couple home offers on homes, 4 or 5 homes before they end up being able to call a home a home.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our current market. Although, that you end up in that situation, patience. If a buyer is patient, they will end up finding something that they do love. For first-time home buyers, our first-time home buyers, it's part of that is educating them and knowing how our market is operating right now, making sure that they're well aware of that so that they're not getting into, we're setting expectations. As long as the buyers know what the expectations are and we're also able to kind of learn what their expectations are, we can get them in. I feel like we can get them into a home. Sometimes it might mean expanding their search into other areas that they may not know about. So just being well educated on surrounding areas and maybe something, paying attention and listening to what your buyer's needs are so that you can meet those needs.
Well, give me some examples of some good areas, right? Because
Yeah.
I personally would love to live in the Denver market, but I know that the average cost of homes is around $500,000, and I'll be frank, I cannot afford that. That is just out of my price range. Though, there are plenty of neighborhoods, right, throughout Denver and a little beyond. What are some areas that you would recommend to a first-time buyer to maybe start looking in?
Yeah. So, it kind of, like I mentioned, expanding those areas out, Aurora, we mentioned Aurora, and sometimes people, think of certain parts of Aurora, but Aurora is very big. It expands all along the 225 corridor. And there are affordable homes. There's affordable homes, single family homes, condos. There's some income qualified homes throughout the Aurora and Stapleton and Green Valley Ranch areas that are really, you have easy access to public transportation, to the light rail. So although it might be a little bit farther out for you, you can take the light rail to downtown or to some of the other areas that you're wanting to live in.
And not have to worry about terrible parking down there? Yeah.
And save yourself a couple $100,000 on your purchase price.
Yeah.
A lot of people are kind of gravitating out towards the Arvada area. Old Town Arvada is, kind of an up and coming. It has its own string of restaurants and little boutiques and shops and whatnot. So it kind of gives it that small downtown vibe.
Yeah.
At still an affordable price. The Stanley Market area that's kind of in the what they're calling the original Aurora area is also where there's a lot of affordable homes. I mentioned Green Valley Ranch. There's a lot of new construction going on out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the new construction is actually becoming very competitive with existing homes. So those are all areas that I would recommend a first-time home buyer explore.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit on yesterday's show. Um, we talked about the difference between affordable versus attainable housing, right? Because this affordable housing, right, means government entities have to intervene, or you can, get some government, state, local assistance, right, in order to buy a home, which is fantastic. And I'm thankful that I'm overqualified for that. It's a blessing to be overqualified for that. But I still can't afford the median average cost for a house. So you mentioned income qualified. Do you mind expanding on that a little bit and what that means and what that could mean for somebody in my boat?
Yeah. So there's a program that's income qualified, and it's actually a very large range. It is based on the number of individuals in the household. So, for a single person, I don't remember what the cap is, but it's a significant number that a lot of individuals that actually fall into that price range. Those homes have certain parameters around them. They're set up to help keep the price of the home down so that individuals can get into the home and actually purchase a home. The way that they do that is that they actually cap the amount of appreciation that a home buyer would realize. And so when the home buyer goes to resell that home, they're limited on the appreciation, limited on the price that they could actually sell for.
Right.
Each program is a little different, so it's definitely worth reading up on. I know Denver has a program. Stapleton has a program that is ran through Denver, I believe ran through Denver. But a lot of these homes, there's new construction homes that are starting in the 175 range, 175,000, which is very affordable.
That is very affordable.
You see these 3-bedroom townhouses that different builders are building in Stapleton that are in the $250,000 range, which in the Stapleton is very affordable as well. So it gets people into these homes with the income that they're currently making, allows them to still gain some appreciation and not be paying towards rent, but building equity for themselves so that when they turn around and sell that, they can afford to buy outside of that program.
Let's talk about equity. It's a word that is, I'm sure, going to get thrown around a lot this week, and it has already a little bit, but what exactly does that mean to build your equity, right? There's some terms, lots of terms actually, within the real estate industry that I'm not familiar with, and I'm sure there are lots of buyers out there that aren't. So what exactly does building equity look like? What does it take to do that?
Well, a lot of people in Colorado are building their equity very quickly right now. Let's say you bought a home 2 years ago for $100,000 and today it's worth $200,000. You would then have $100,000 in equity.
Okay.
So it's essentially the amount that the positive balance that you have on your home. You're gaining, as your home gains value over the years, you're gaining equity in there. As you continue to pay down your principal balance on your loan, you're gaining equity. Whereas in rent, you're just paying rent to whoever owns this, so you can pay their mortgage or pay them back.
Yeah.
You're not building any equity at that point. So that's why, I encourage people to explore different avenues. Homeownership is such a great investment in someone's future that why would you not do that? If you think about it as a savings account, yes, you're paying a little interest to someone, but at the same time, you're putting money aside each month that when you do go and sell your home, you can get that back.
Okay. So we mentioned the income qualified housing, and while we know that the appraisal's capped, is the equity then at that time capped too?
It is. So it's actually the current cap on it is somewhere between 3 and 3.5%. If you look at the historic average, it's about 4%.
Oh.
Of appreciation per year.
Okay.
Now, obviously, that's not what we're seeing in Denver and the surrounding areas right now. So if you look at it from that perspective, you are missing out on some appreciation, but at the same time, you're still gaining the appreciation. You're near the historic average, so it's it's really not a bad deal when you're looking at it from that perspective, where you're actually still being able to build equity instead of just paying someone else rent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. Um, Now, you talked about how development is a part of Generator, right? It's real estate and development. Um, there is a trend of tiny homes. I don't know how much you can speak to that, but obviously the big part of that is buying the land to
Hmm.
put your tiny home on. And I know that there's definitely some legalese speak there that you might not be very well well read into. But any advice on that or any perspective on that?
So there's individuals are going and building these tiny house communities, or these communities with the tiny houses on them. I've seen some with homeless. I've seen some that are trying to build different organizations that are around elderly folks. So they're trying to provide a space for these people that maybe can't afford to live in our current market,
Hmm.
and provide a space for them that they can go and afford to either purchase into or pay rent and live in this community environment. Um, Obviously there's zoning that's required for these communities to exist, and a lot of infrastructure that needs to be put in place for them to exist as well. Uh, I'm not very knowledgeable about where these neighborhoods are or where these
Hmm.
communities are, but I know that they are becoming more and more frequent because people are trying to create a more dense community to
Hmm.
make things more affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind talking a little bit if I and the marijuana industry, right? I personally feel like homes started going up about the same time that we legalized marijuana because a lot of the people that were owning these shops and things are flush with cash, right? And so we're seeing a lot of homes being bought with cash. Any comments, or have you seen anything like that? Has that been affected at all in your personal career?
I don't know that it's necessarily tied to the marijuana industry, but I know that as we have large corporations, different organizations coming in, moving their headquarters to Denver and the surrounding areas, we're seeing an influx in people moving here. Obviously, we did see an influx in people moving here when marijuana was legalized. I wouldn't say it's directly related, only related to that,
Right.
but as different organizations continue to move here, and the secret of Denver is out.
Yeah.
We had this good thing going for us for a while, but Denver is one of the top places to live, and it's not just for some people do come here for the marijuana industry, but we have a lot to offer here. We have the mountains to go to. We have a great downtown that's ever growing.
Yeah.
Our restaurant industry is expanding and becoming more culturally diverse, which is great. There's just so many positive things happening in Denver that who wouldn't want to live here?
Right. So one of the things that I was able to talk about yesterday and hopefully ask other people on further shows, but this myth of a bubble, right? So we're not in a bubble. I think people keep waiting on the prices to either plateau or go back down. Care to expand on that at all?
Watching what is going on right now, it is definitely not sustainable.
Okay.
There's the amount of appreciation that we've seen and the growth in the home prices and the home values is not sustainable for our market. We are seeing some price reductions now, homes sitting a little bit longer.
Longer than a week, you mean?
Yeah, longer than a week. But some homes are sitting a little bit longer, and I think, people are starting to become more aware that maybe it is cheaper for them to rent right now. We did see a huge surplus of builders in the apartment industry. As those are starting to be finalized and available for rent, we're seeing rents go decrease, and it may make more sense for someone to hold out on that. We've seen a 0.5% interest rate increase, which we are also expecting another one by the end of the year. Certain things will affect the prices. If we keep seeing decreases and interest rates keep going up, it will help,
Yeah.
level things out. But with the state of the economy right now, how we're trending, a 5-week inventory, to make that balance, I think it's going to be a little bit longer. We're
Oh,
going to
okay.
keep on our trajectory that we've been on.
All right. So there is hope for me in the future.
There's hope for you now. There's, I think finding a good agent,
Yeah.
and helping you educate you and helping you explore different avenues that maybe you're not aware of. Different lending programs that are out there for first-time home buyers. There's a lot of grant money available for first-time home buyers. There's a lot of programs that are geared towards first-time home buyers. It's just trying to find them.
Okay.
There's means out there. It's just getting connected with the right things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea that there were grants available for first-time home buyers. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, because I know that you started in the commercial side of real estate. Now you're in the residential side. Tell me about that first time that you got somebody into their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of people, we take people out and see different homes and see a lot of different products, whether it be an old home that was built in the 1900s or a brand new townhouse that was built last year. You get to see a lot of things and you learn a lot about people's personalities while you're looking at homes with them. It's a very emotional time for them. It's one of the largest financial decisions that they'll ever make. And helping guide someone through that process when you walk into a home and you just see this joy come over them that this is it. You want to help guide them to get this home. Educate them. What does it take? What is it going to take for you to make an offer that's going to stand out above the rest? I think we're seeing an average of probably 5 offers on each home that's for sale. And that's intimidating, especially for a first-time home buyer. They want to come in and they see this gorgeous home that they just fall in love with, and to be able to help them win that scenario, that's so rewarding. To help someone make that financial decision, it's such a rewarding career.
Yeah.
And to be able to, make that connection with people. A lot of my clients I've become really good friends with, whether they be a stranger I met off the street or someone that was referred to me from a friend or a family member. It's a pretty intimate process working with someone.
Yeah.
There's so many moving parts in it. It's not just the realtor and the buyer or the seller. There's also a title company involved, and there's lenders involved. And you have this team that you start building in each transaction. And at the end of it, you're all on the same team trying to get to the same destination. It's just trying to figure out how do you make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, making dreams come true. That's an exciting career to have. And I'm glad that you feel so rewarded at your job. Do you mind talking? One of the trending things that I've seen is this love letter. Talk about what a love letter is and how that might help somebody.
Yeah. So the Real Estate Commission also wouldn't refer to them as love letters, but what this love letter is a letter from the buyer to the seller, speaking to who they are, what they love about the house, maybe talking about their background, and it's something that people are submitting with offers to try and help their offer stand out. Some buyers or some sellers don't want to see those because they want to try and remove the emotions from the process, and sometimes a buyer doesn't want to give their details and share their life with someone else. But the love letter is geared towards doing that, to kind of add some emotion, add a human element to it, to put a face to who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have about a minute here left. Sam, how can I find you? How can I make you my real estate agent?
Well, you could come visit me at my office at 32nd and Tejon. You could also go to thinkgenerator.com, or you can email me at samantha@thinkgenerator.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Samantha. You've added a great element here to my real estate week, and we're going to continue this conversation on Thursday with some more guests. But it's been great having you on. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page while you're here. Check out cobrt.com. We just had our newsletter go out today. Check out this podcast and more on our radio page. And also we have a brand new event that just came out. It's View from the Top, that will be taking place on August 20th. Find out the details on our events page. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Alex.